Hey, how you guys doing? It's your boy Beastly back at it again with another CFB 27 video. Huge special shout outs to all you guys who took time out your morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watched my previous rant. I appreciate that video was like an hour and a half. I do apologize for the length of that video. I know most people don't have the patience or the attention span to sit through a full nearly an hour and a half long rant, but there were so many issues and or are so many issues with the game that even though that file I think was originally a 3-hour long rant, I removed a lot of stuff that I either felt wasn't necessary or just wasn't very entertaining to watch. And of course, because there were so many issues, I did forget other things. So I appreciate y'all who did watch the video, who enjoyed it. Much love. And this video is going to be hopefully, keyword there is hopefully, a positive follow-up. As you guys can see, this was announced probably 3 or 4 days ago at the time of me recording this video, around July 10th, I think, July 10th, July 11th, somewhere around that ballpark. But the hashtag CFB Play Don't Pay movement that was started by a lot of content creators like Bordeaux and Not the Expert, Eric Rayweather, stuff like that, Bengal. A lot of these content creators felt wronged for EA shoving microtransactions into the game that they should have been well aware of. And I'm not going to waste too much time on that part of this video, but either way, we won, right? We got them to bend the knee. They removed microtransactions from Road to Glory. They removed microtransactions from Dynasty. They promised to fix the Coach XP in Road to Glory. And they promised to fix the Coach XP in Dynasty, along with several other things like fixing the recruiting issues and the plethora of bugs via gameplay, and just various features of the game. So we won, guys, right? Like EA, we got them to have a whole tweet. I'm not going to read the tweet. You guys can see it on screen. Pause the video now if you want to read it. But yeah, this was released like July 10th, July 11th, something like that, several days ago. And everybody was going bananas over this. It was like, oh, wow, we made this multi-billion-dollar entity have to bend the knee to its consumers to not ruin the game that we like. Crazy that we actually did this. And don't take my word for it, right? I'm not going to play the videos for copyright reasons, but you guys can go find them on YouTube. If you were scrolling through YouTube 4 or 5 days ago, again, generally speaking, when these videos were made, they were all the same videos, right? Bordeaux originally had the video titled We Won and only recently changed it to But Only a Little Bit because EA's EA. That was not the original title of the video. I watched the original video. The original video was like everybody else, as you guys can see, Not the Expert. We actually won. Bengal, we did it. Eric Rayweather, and microtransactions. All these content creators were doing victory laps several days ago because, again, EA promised all of this stuff that they will fix for the first title update. And so all of these people were like, we did it, woohoo. They're doing victory laps. And I was telling people in my comments on my previous video, I was telling people in my stream, you guys have no idea how EA works. What EA says versus what they do are always two entirely different things. Again, they promise this, they deliver that. And so again, you guys can go fact check me, go watch these videos. These YouTubers were, oh my goodness, we did it. Let's go see today, now that we have the official patch notes, or I say official, but the early patch notes, we'll have the official ones in about 3 hours when this video releases, but we'll have those tomorrow. But these are the unofficial ones. I'm recording this currently the day before the update, so there you go. But let's go see actually what we did or didn't actually win, you guys. So if you want to read this word for word verbatim, I will have this linked in the description down below, along with the other videos for the other content creators. That way you guys can go watch them as well. But as you guys can see, this is the first title update for CFB 27 that's scheduled to go out July 16th in 2026. So a breakdown of what's going on, it goes as follows. The first will be their dynasty philosophy, aka a load of horse crap, just to basically, like, I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here. I've already read this, especially on my stream last night, which, by the way, stream almost every day. Stop by around 6 o'clock CST. If you guys have any questions and want to see what random nonsense I'm doing, go ahead. There you go. But this is nonsense. This might be the most insulting, belittling, and degrading thing I've ever seen any gaming company ever release for its players. As you will see momentarily, EA genuinely thinks their average consumer has like room temperature IQ, which maybe a lot of them do because a lot of them play Ultimate Team and spend thousands of dollars on fictional cards that don't carry over between game to game. So, year in, year out, they're wasting thousands of dollars on something that, gives them no actual value. But either way, EA not just thinks that you're stupid, like by adding microtransactions to offline modes, but they're straight up telling you to your face you are stupid. So just keep that in mind when I read the things I'm about to read to you. So first thing first we're going to cover is that in CFB 25, the max cap was 50, and from the developer's perspective, you reached level 50 way too fast. So in CFB 26, they increased the level cap from 50 to 100, right? They gave us 50 extra levels. Not really. Because as they explain in this article, which again, I'm not going to read word for word, you guys, if you want to pause it, read it, you can. I will have it linked in the description. But basically, they might have added 50 extra levels to the game, but it wasn't 50 levels worth of XP, right? As explained by the developers in this article, levels 1 to 50 in CFB 25 is the exact same thing as levels 1 to 75 in CFB 26. So realistically, they only added about 25 actual levels to the game, which, again, with perk inflation and everything else, wasn't that much, right? But that was their goal. And then for 27, they were very annoyed that in 25 and 26, people were reaching max level. And again, this is where the whole belittling and insulting thing becomes, where they're just lying through their teeth. So for 27, they wanted to keep the same level cap of level 100. However, they wanted to synthetically alter how long it took you to get to the end, right? This is the equivalent of like an Assassin's Creed game, like Valhalla, for example, where the developers will put a bunch of bullcrap filler missions in between the final mission and the second to last mission just to pad runtime, right? A lot of other games do it. I'm not going to sit there and list them all, but basically, if you play any story games, if the company's a bad game, they'll put filler and fluff towards the end to give you an extra 5 to 15 hours of storytelling, when in reality, there's not 5 to 15 hours worth of the story left. They're just padding runtime. And so for 27, they wanted the goal to be, by the time you finish your dynasty, which is to reach 30 years, to be level 100, right? They're trying to justify and make excuses for why they added microtransactions and ruined the coach XP rate. They can, I don't know what, lawyer, what PR person typed this thing, but again, this is the most insulting thing. Just say you ruined the coach XP for money. If EA just came out and said, hey, we ruined the game to make a buck, I would respect them 10 times more than this garbage, where they're basically lying to your face saying, hey, we have a creative vision, we have this artistic design, and this is this is what we wanted, right? Everything we did is by design. No, it's not. If it was by design, you wouldn't have pulled the microtransactions within 4 days of the game going live. Let's be real here, right? This is EA trying to save face, and they've done it in probably the most insanely difficult way possible by just, you're too stupid to comprehend what we did, so time to spell it out for you in very big letters. That way even the simpletons can understand, which is wild. Then they try to say that if you're having a hard time leveling up, again, not going to read it word for word, but you got to pay attention to your coach perks, right? What skill trees you specialize in, you really do matter in this game, because we want you to pick the perks, not that actually benefit you the most, but that give you the most XP, which is, again, nonsense, because is perks like strategist and talent developer really good perks for XP? Yes. But would I ever buy a perk for XP? No, because why would I do that when I'm supposed to earn XP at a normal rate to play the game like a normal human? Why would you ever make a coach build in this game just for XP? I think that's the most redundant thing you can possibly do. But either way, and then there's some other nonsense like, oh, we had to rework things because of, coach contracts and team prestige and, the new NIL. A bunch of garbage. It's just filler. EA, just tell me that you wanted to make a buck off me and we're fine. Don't give me... These are the keys, the key strengths to your coach, and you really have to lean into your build. And no, right? I'm currently almost 25 years deep in my first rebuild of Coastal Carolina. I've won 10 or 11 natties. I've won, 15 to 20 conference championships. I've made several hundred first round picks. I've had like probably 12 Heismans. My coach is level 80. I am not going to reach level 100 by the end of my first 30-year save file. And I've won, 85 to 90% of my games. Don't piss on me and say it's raining, right? Don't lie to me and feed me bullshit. Just say what you did. It's pretty simple. I also really find it funny here. Your accomplishments on the field matter. Again, no, they don't. I've won, 11 natties, like 15 Heismans, 30 to 40 playoff games. No. Clearly, if it did actually matter, I would be level 100, 10 seasons ago, but, it doesn't matter. Even at level 100, you cannot unlock every perk. An intentional choice, as no coach can be great at everything, and every decision should matter. EA, when have you ever been able to buy every perk in the game? In CFB 25, there was a hard limit. In CFB 26, there was a hard limit. In this game, there's a significantly harder limit. In no game, minus glitches and exploits, obviously, have you been able to purchase the entire skill tree. which, by the way, in an offline mode where you're primarily playing the computer, who cares even if you can buy every perk? I was having this conversation on my stream several days ago, and I completely agree with what the gentleman said. There should be a setting in Dynasty that allows you to choose what your level cap for your coach is. If you want to restrict it to where no one can exceed level 50, that should be a setting. If you want to keep it to where max coach level is 100, that should be a setting. If you want to make it to where there is no coach limit and you can be level 512 like you're playing GTA Online or Forza Horizon 6 Online, you can do that. Right? If you want to be a super dork and buy every perk in the game legitimately and have the most overpowered coach in the game, you should be allowed to do that. It's your save file. If you want to also be a dork and have it hard cap to be like the max level your coach can get 25, enjoy the suck, brother. Again, how you want to play the game is how you want to play the game. There should be options and restrictions to how you see fit. But when you're making me do things and you're forcing me to bend to your will, that's not freedom. That's not sandbox. Furthermore, the slogan for this game was "We do it for you," right? The uppercase "you," emphasizing the players is what we're doing this for. When have any of the players who have ever wanted any of these changes? The answer is none of them. I don't understand why EA is so hell-bent at doing what we want them to do, considering literally their slogan is "We do it for you." No, you're not. Because if you did it for us, half this garbage wouldn't be in the game. You did it for money. M-O-N-E-Y, money. So let's get to the first funny thing that we're going to cover, aside from the nonsense of them just straight up lying to you, giving you a bunch of nonsensical reasons for why they ruined the game. We'll do Coach XP settings. So basically, long story short, they are rebranding. There is no longer going to be slowest, slower, normal, faster, and fastest. No, my friend. They are significantly rebranding their image. Now that doesn't exist, which is very genius for their PR team / marketing team, because the only way they could really save face from the atrocities they've committed to this player base is by just removing it from the game. So now, when EA Sports gets asked the question of why'd you remove the faster and fastest Coach XP sliders, they're going to respond with, well, that's not in the game no more. In which, are they technically lying? No, because it's not in the game. They've just now rebranded, which is very, cliche of like a rock star, musician or someone doing some horrible thing, or, Papa John's guy saying something racist, and then, a few months later, yeah, we've removed him and now it's this whole brand new thing, but it functions the exact same. Again, don't piss on me and say it's raining. Like, these are the same things that were already in the game. You're just rebranding them to save face. For starters, the new setting is going to be called Career, Authentic Long-Term Coach Progression at 1.0 XP speeds. Basically, this is the current game. If you want to never achieve coach level 100, play on Career. Why is it called Career? I have no idea. They picked 3 funny, arbitrary words to describe the 3 new Coach XP settings. Again, branding, saving face, but we all know, we can all call a spade. That's kind of how it works. Next, we have Simulation. Balanced coach progression at 1.25, so slightly faster than usual. This is the best for a player who wants a realistic pace while progressing their coach at a faster rate. What does that have anything to do with Simulation? What's the difference between Simulation and Career minus the percent? You just threw a bunch of word salad at us. This is what this means. It means nothing. And then my favorite one, which is the reason why I made this video, is Casual. The fastest coach progression XP at 1.5 times. This is the equivalent of faster setting from CP26 and is best for players who want to unlock abilities quickly and accelerate through their coach. Keyword though, it's faster, not fastest. So we're not getting the fastest setting back at all. Well, technically we're not getting any of the speed settings, but we're not getting it back. All we're getting is faster. So EA went from straight up punching us in the mouth and telling us to like it to now, basically backhanding us in the face. Like, is it better to be slapped than punched? Yes. But do I want to get hit in the face at all? The answer is no. Why would I want to be assaulted for no actual reason? That makes no sense. So the victory we achieved turns out was a hollow victory because they're virtually doing nothing. They're adding the one extra speed thing that currently is not in the game, and they're rebranding the new nonsense, which is just really, really funny. So I'm not going to read all this. You guys can go read the word salad garbage, but basically they're kind of justifying it like, we have a vision. We want to do things at a specific rate. No one cares. If I want to be level 100 by my 9th season, I should be allowed to do that. It's my rebuild. It's my dynasty. It's my save file. I should do what I want with my game. I don't understand why, again, the slogan was, we did it for you, but we don't want to also listen to you because you guys don't know what you're talking about, which is funny because yes, we do, especially me, because I play the game more than probably every developer combined. But Yeah, it's just super belittling. Belittling. Also, did you notice the words they use for the baby difficulty, which is what they're pretty much calling it? They're calling it a casual. Which, if you guys don't know, in sports conversation or sports debate, if there's someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, it's typically a common slang or term used to describe idiots. Just to give you an example, this is the equivalent in like a football debate where you're having a conversation on who's the greatest quarterback of all time. Is it Tom Brady? The correct answer. Is it Peyton Manning? Is it Steve Young? Is it all these amazing quarterbacks? And some random person's like, nah, it's Tua. Like that, you would just call that person a casual, right? That's the general vernacular used for just people who are idiots. And that's straight up what EA named their game, their difficulty for the mode is for casuals. It's for idiots. It's for brainless morons, which I think is so funny because, again, what do any of these words have anything to do with the difficulty? Nothing. Why are they even calling it a difficulty? It's just, XP sliders. What is wrong with faster, fastest, slower, and normal? Why, like, what are we doing? Like, the amount of money and time that got wasted on doing this is just comical to me. So yeah, to recap, we're not getting the fastest slider returning, and they're rebranding the XP sliders to random sports words to hopefully sound cool and hip to make it, some revolutionary thing when in reality, it's the same nonsense. Right? You can put makeup on a pig, it's still a pig, EA. We still know how it works. Next, we're going to get to the final portion, and yes, I know, me saying the word final portion is crazy that we've only covered 2 things, and this is already the final portion. Now, again, there will probably be more things upon the official release, but for now, this is all we got to work with, but this is the very end of the article in which they are covering the recruiting issues. If you guys don't know what I mean by the recruiting issues, basically there are hundreds, if not thousands, of 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars every year that just don't get recruited. And currently, how the game is, designed until they change it, you can go and have recruiting classes of 5 and 4 and 3-star people from both high school and the portal without ever giving them any NIL. You could legitimately recruit them for free. It's a massive problem. And if you're curious, I believe Max CFB made a video about it. I believe there's 88 or 90-ish, or I'll just round up. There's almost 100 4/5 stars a year, a cycle, that just don't get recruited. Whether it's because of, recruiting logic, whether it's because of money, it could be a lot of factors, but they just don't get recruited, which is, stupid, right? You can make an argument that, it's fine for 3 stars to go under recruited, not really, but there's no reason for 4 and 5 stars. That is, I think the only people who should go under recruited should be 1 and 2 stars. I think every roster on every team, user or CPU, should be 3-star and above, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But let's read what they did, right? For starters, they adjust the recruiting tuning to improve how the CPU-controlled teams compete for highly rated recruits. Nice. Nice. Next, improved how the CPU teams prioritize and retain recruits after extending offers. There you go. That's another key problem. So even the players that were struggling to get onto teams because they were getting under-recruited, that's a problem. But then they would also, if you did get them, the CPU wouldn't give them their money, and they would just hit the portal, which is why the portal in this game is so overpowered. It's more overpowered than it was in 26 and 25 combined. And so if you don't nerf the portal, you can just do stupid things with the portal in this game. But either way, so yeah, they fixed players getting onto rosters, hopefully, and they fixed players staying on rosters, hopefully. We have tuned late cycle recruiting scenarios that could leave some recruits without viable offers. Basically, this is them saying 4 and 5-star prospects will hopefully no longer go under recruited towards the latter part of the year, which is pretty nice. Next, dev note, we want to dive deeper into the changes. This will be a 2-part fix, with the first part coming tomorrow and the second in a future title update. You may still see some recruits not have the offers, but you should see significant reduction in how many are available. Next, again, going back to the classic EA bait and switch. They've told us they were going to fix these problems, and as you just read, this might not fix the problems or all the problems. Now, if you guys are new, guys don't know how title updates work. Title updates normally happen once every month or once every couple of months. So we're getting part 1 of the recruiting fix now, or technically tomorrow, when I'm recording this video, but there's no guarantee it's going to work, in which we might have to wait several more months down the road to get the other half of the update. Wow, what a tease, EA, to say you're going to fix something and then be like, yeah, we might fix it, we might not. Who knows? We'll be quirky and just, see if the game actually works. It's like, what are we doing? Like genuinely, what are we doing? Why tell us there's going to be a part 2? Just tell us we're not going to fix it until we have both parts figured out. I don't know if they have both parts. I mean, again, this is just pure speculation on my behalf. It's some Alex Jones tinfoil hat stuff, but I don't think the devs can fix it. And so they're just trying to fix some now, and they're kicking the can down the road 1 to 2, maybe 3 months to give them more time to fix the problem. That's my interpretation, but we'll see. Next, dev insight. Changes should be seen immediately when you log back into your dynasty. However, full changes will start this update be more evident the next season or a new dynasty. So yeah, basically, if you're using an old dynasty, these changes may not apply, or if they do apply, it'll be seasons down the road from the one you're currently at. So if you want to guarantee to have the new results, just make a new dynasty. But either way, I digress. Next, we get to my favorite part of the entire article. This was something that genuinely put a smile on my face. I absolutely loved it, and I'm going to blow this up to be super large because the amount of times I was called crazy, people were gaslighting me in the comments of my previous rant, and just, the comments and the streams. Oh, I love it, on Twitter, all the full 9, right? Social media, basically. I've noticed pretty much instantly that they've nerfed the archetypes and they nerfed progression for not just the coach, but for players. Now, people kept telling me, no, Beastly, you're wrong. They just nerfed the coach XP. They didn't touch the player XP. I'm like, no, you're wrong, because I've spent thousands of hours on the menus. I understand how many how many tokens my player should be getting with the various dev traits, with the perks I am using. I understand how this works. As you guys can see, they kind of snuck this right towards the end, right at the end, right when, most people probably, have already clicked off because they got what they want and now they're done. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, it is they adjusted the off-season player progression to increase across the board, aka your players weren't getting enough XP during the training week, which, showed because my average player in CFB 26 was like a 90 overall, and then when they were a junior or senior, they were a 99. Now, my average player is like an 88. Like, getting a 99 overall player last year is the equivalent of getting like a 90 overall this year. It's so much harder to get a higher overall player because they're earning less tokens per year than they were last year, which then adds up. Dev note, this will result in more players being 90 overall or higher as you may get deeper into your dynasty. Exactly right there. Because the funny thing about EA and their incompetence is that everything's proportional. So EA didn't like that everybody was a 99 overall last year, and so they watered down the progression system to make everybody an 85 to a 90. Okay, but all that does, EA, again, this is just simple math. If you lowered the average player to be an 85 to 90, all that means is the old 99s is the new 85 to 90s. That means the old 90s are now like 75s. The old 85s are like 70s now, right? It trickles down the entire board. So whether I have a full team of 99s and I'm just running through the computer, or I have a full team of 88s, I'm still going to be running through the computer because, proportionally, the other CPU teams won't have the same players. So this was just a stupid change that, again, nobody asked for, nobody wanted. Nobody was like, you know what we should ruin? Player progression and coach progression. Let's just ruin both parts of the game. Why not? So now, I'm assuming what they did, and we were, again, tinfoil hat Alex Jones here. I think what they did was they reduced the player XP by about 40 to 60%. And you may be saying, Beastly, that is a wild number. Hear me out. I think what they did, they took the base settings they had for CFB 26, and they lowered it again by 40 to 60% for compensation for the fact that you can now buy a facilities grade, which is a 20% buff, and you could buy a Dynasty Blueprint perk that gives you another 20%. So if you think about that number, right, if it's 60% and then you add 20% and 20%, you become, instead of having a negative 60, you're now negative 20. Again, I'm not going to whip out a calculator and do the decimal points, but I think that's what they did. I think they nerfed the base progression to compensate for the new perks and stuff they were adding. However, what I think the devs did in their typical fashion, they overstepped their boundaries and they nerfed player progression too hard. Right? There should never be a year I have with normal dev or impact dev players where I finish every single weekly practice and the training and they have like 17 tokens. That makes no sense. And it's not just normal dev and impact dev players. I've had years with off-season training and, practice where I'll have elite devs with like 35 tokens. It's like, what? What are you doing? I don't have auto progression on. Like what? I haven't advanced past the week yet. They haven't been auto spent. Just some players get no tokens. So I'm glad they just, slightly threw this towards the back half of the devs, that basically justifying what I was saying. Like, oh yeah, they didn't just nerf player progression, they nerfed coach progression as well. They screwed both halves of the game. And as per usual, the dev insight, we will have a second update that will come in the future title update that further adjusts this to a further improved recruiting generation and player progression. AKA, this is just like the recruiting change. We don't know if this is going to work. We're going to see if this works, and if it doesn't work, we will kick the can down the road 1 to 3 months and hopefully fix it then. To say like I'm disappointed would imply I had standards to begin with that EA didn't met. No. This was the reason why I didn't make a We Won video. It's the reason why I was mocking these other content creators who made those like childish videos. It's the reason why everybody who came in my stream saying that we won, I was like, hold your horses. What EA says versus what they do are always very different things. Now, again, I come tomorrow, we might get some more changes they haven't, talked about yet. But just from what they've established going into this title update, this is a giant nothing burger with cheese and a side of fuck you. They might fix the recruiting stuff. They might not. We'll see. They might fix the player progression stuff. They might not. We'll see. And they're giving us a small XP bonus for the setting that we used to have last year, but they won't give it to us because it ruins XY, word salad Z. This is ridiculous. Technically, also, if you scroll down, there's some Road to Glory stuff too, but all they're changing in Road to Glory is the D-line, the edge position battle progression right here. And also, there is no sliders. I'm not going to find the exact paragraph, but you can scroll through. Basically, the devs were like, LOL, we built Dynasty with a specific way to where you can't have fast coach XP. We built Road to Glory a specific way to where you can't have fast XP there, so we're not letting you have it there. So, Road to Glory got told to suck the shaft. Dynasty was told, we might fix it, we might not, who knows. And then, everyone is now going to be very sour because all this amazing... all this hoorah, we won, guys, and we didn't win nothing. Because in typical fashion, the content creators who pushed and peddled this game to be sold to many people have also overhyped people and set expectations too high, and now we will be, not say we, but now many people will be disappointed. Not me, because this is how EA works, but, I've been here for 15 years. I know how the whole shindig works, but... a lot of you guys are new. You don't know. But either way, that's my rant. I'm going to be done with this. Hopefully you guys do see it the day the video comes out. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the title update and if this game will ever be fixed. For the comment emoji, as you guys know in my videos, I love to have a comment emoji. That way I can see all the true OGs who do watch the entire video regardless of length. And for this video, let's go ahead and make the comment emoji of the day. The lying emoji, if you go to your iPhone, I don't know what it is on Android, but if you type in like liar or lying, there's like a emoji with a very long nose. Just do anything like that. That way I will know you watched this far into the video. And let's go ahead and roll the shoutouts. As always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, give me a follow or sub on Twitch. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you can, please become a member. Members get a ton of perks on the channel, such as getting early access to my videos, whether hours early, days early, weeks early, months early, stuff of that nature. Early access, perks, extra perks in the streams, right? We will have a various challenge. I'll have, chat decide what we're doing or what uniforms, yada, yada, yada. Random freebies like that, perks in the Discord, and more importantly, you'll be first VIP access to my online Dynasty I will be starting very, very, very soon. I'll be having 2 leagues this year, but that's a later content stuff. I'll have a whole video that breaks that down. But yeah, members do get first dibs. So if you want to be in the Sim League or the Gameplay League, make sure to be members right there. And yeah, special shout out to all you guys right here on screen. I appreciate y'all. Much love. And yeah, guys, I will see ya when I see ya. Deuces.